City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is the Election Bureau. Hello and welcome to Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. My name is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu, and tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
In a majority decision of 5-2, Lovelace Johnson JSC and Amadu Tanko JSC dissenting on the issue of jurisdiction, the plaintiff's action succeeds. The full reasons and orders of the court shall be filed with the registrar by close of day tomorrow, 13th November 2024. This is the judgment.
Supreme Court decides Speaker Bagbe's expulsion of 4 MPs is unconstitutional in a landmark 3-2 decision delivered today. We have reactions from the majority leader Alexander Penyomakin, who took this case to court. Also coming up, Ekia Donko's running mate fails the EC test to replace her on the ballot, but the ballot positioning remains unchanged.
A number of errors and some illegalities with the form. The candidate's attention was drawn to these errors and the party was provided an opportunity to correct them. They did that. In the view of the commission, it was not in our bosom to provide the political party the opportunity to correct some of the illegalities that we found on the form.
And later on Eyewitness News, road construction to come to a standstill as Ghana Highways Authority workers embark on a strike. Stay with 97.3 City FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
ECOWAS member state to slash flight costs by 25%.
That's in 50 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations and around the globe on citynewsroom.com. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. Just look for the name City FM and you can see and listen to what's happening in our studios. If you're driving out of Accra, let me give you a list of radio stations that are bringing you this particular broadcast. Adwinpa 100.7 FM in Takwa is bringing you this broadcast. That's in the western region. We're also on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, we're on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we're on Adwinpa 99.9 FM in Nkawie. In the Volta region, we're on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohwe. We are also on Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakopa. In the northern region, we are on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In the upper east region, we are on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In the northeast region, we are on Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigo. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. And on Point Blank tonight, my guest is the Eastern Regional Minister, the Honorable Seth Echampong. Send us your messages and questions 0549 986 996. That's a WhatsApp number 0549 986 996. On Twitter, now known as X, the hashtag is City Newsroom or Eyewitness News. My handle is at Umaru Sanda. Eyewitness News is effectively airborne. Well, so tonight, the Supreme Court has delivered a very landmark decision. Hawa has a summary of that particular story. Hawa?
The Supreme Court has ruled against Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbe's decision to declare 4 parliamentary seats vacant, siding with a challenge brought by Majority Leader Alexander Penyomakin. In Tuesday's decision, a 7-member panel led by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono ruled in 5-2 majority favoring Afenyo Markin's position. Chief Justice Tokono announced that the court would provide a detailed explanation of its ruling at a later date. Let's now hear from the Chief Justice giving her ruling.
In a majority decision of 5-2, Lovelace Johnson JSC and Amadu Tanko JSC dissenting on the issue of jurisdiction, the plaintiff's action succeeds. The full reasons and orders of the court shall be filed with the registrar by close of day tomorrow, 13th November 2024. This is the judgment of the court.
You had the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono. Now, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfred Yeboadame spoke to journalists shortly after the court proceedings.
Well, I think the court has spoken in very clear and emphatic terms, and of course, it must be the only thing anybody has to do is to respect the constitution. That is the mark of a civilized democratic order. It leaves no room for any argument whatsoever, and the majority decision, very big majority, clear majority, 5-2. It's not as if it was a narrow majority, 3-4 or 4-3, that anyone can say, well, there is some room for kind of review or anything at all. But the point I'm making is that whenever the court speaks, it's as a clear and emphatic order. Even if it's a very narrow majority, that's the decision of the court, and that decision must be respected. And I'm saying that it will result in a degeneration of our society and a destruction of our democratic order for anybody at all to refuse to comply with orders of the Supreme Court. And I think that's non-negotiable. It's something that we must all respect. I have heard some statements by certain political actors to the effect that the case ought to be withdrawn and that there ought to be negotiation and all that. I'm quite surprised because indeed, firstly, I did not hear such expression of a willingness to negotiate a law or maybe such instruction to the speaker or direct suggestion to the speaker for negotiation and law when the speaker started embarking on this act. And I think that for me it's very important that the Supreme Court ruled upon this matter because it is something that had been occurring in this country. A tendency for it to occur really was there. A tendency for it to occur again was there. It's necessary, or it was necessary, that the Supreme Court came to this clear conclusion and determination of the matter. The meaning of Article 97, Clause 1, paragraphs G and H. And I think we must all respect it.
What do you expect to happen in Parliament? Parliament is currently on break. What do you expect to happen with the Speaker of Parliament in particular also?
I think the Speaker of Parliament himself, to start with, indicated in his address to the press last week that the case raised very serious legal issues. Those were serious legal issues and matters bordering on governance in the country. And first, so I must express my shock, utter shock, at this refusal to even file a process. If indeed the Speaker of Parliament himself recognized that the matter raised serious legal issues.
Attorney General and Minister of Justice Godfred Yeboadame. Let's also hear from the Majority Leader in Parliament, Alexander Penyo-Markin.
We can only thank God, and also it's a moment for all of us to rally around the choice we made in 1992, democracy. Democracy requires decency, and that is the path the MPP Majority Caucus took to ensure that we do right to the law. Nothing more except to say that we expect our colleagues on the other side, including Mr. Speaker, to respect the outcome of this case so that we move on as a nation. All we have is the peace of the country. All we have is our democracy. And in West Africa and in Africa as a whole, Ghana shines in the eyes of the people in terms of democracy. So this is another feat we have achieved, and we must celebrate it. It's not a matter of MPP against NDC. It's a matter of constitutional, interpretation, and the court has given its verdict. We should all respect it and move on. Thank you very much. I think.
Do you expect the Speaker to recall Parliament on its own volition, given this emphatic?
Let the lawyers deal with the issues of law. I think that all we want is peace in the country, and we chose peace. and today we've achieved peace. That is all we say.
The Speaker has no choice. He has to abide by the ruling of the Supreme Court. He has no choice. He has no choice. Absolutely no choice.
What's the way forward?
The way forward is for him.
Please.
Majority Leader in Parliament, Alexander Penyomakin.
Now, inadvertently said that the decision was a 3-2 judgment or decision. It was rather a 7-5 decision in favor of the petitioner. 5-3. Forgive me, the panel was a 7-member panel. So 5 agreed with the petitioner Alexander Penyomakin and 2 disagreed. The 2 who disagreed, Lovelace Johnson and Justice Tanko. And that decision was announced by the President of the panel and Chief Justice of the Republic. Her Ladyship Gertrude Tokono. Let's go to Parliament now. For this is one of the times that the judiciary, exercising its judicial power, which is vested in it by the Constitution, decides on an action by another body, in this case the legislature. The Member of Parliament for Tolong in the Northern Region is also the first Deputy Majority Whip in the House of Parliament. The NPP's Habib Idrisu. He's joined us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir. Apologies, we've lost the Honorable Habib Idrisu. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. Let's go to the phone lines and speak to Honorable Habib Idrisu. He's NPP Member of Parliament for Tolong and he's the first Deputy Whip of the House of Parliament on the majority side. You're welcome to Eyewitness News and congratulations to your side and your leader.
Thank you. I think it's congratulations to the democracy that we are all enjoying, and that it's congratulations to all of us as it has settled matters that were actually lingering within us in Parliament. And at the moment, I think that is settled by this ruling.
So what next?
As it stands now, earlier on, there was already a ruling by the Supreme Court to stay aside the ruling of the Speaker. So the status quo remains, and with this clear interpretation of Article 97, G and H, it means that matters have been settled. People who were so of the view in terms of interpretation, whether they were members of Parliament or not, we had a clear view and we were clear in our mind that the intention of those members were to represent those constituencies either as independent candidates or in the other breath representing on the ticket of the NPP in the 9th Parliament, actually not in the 8th Parliament. And I think this is the same view and opinion that the Supreme Court has actually upheld and interpreted accordingly. So I'm very positive that when we return back to Parliament, everything now is now settled. MPP, we are 138 members of Parliament on the majority caucus, and then the minority caucus is 137. So as usual, when we return to Parliament, we'll continue to build consensus, we'll continue to engage each other, we'll continue to judge or to see how best we'll be able to end the 8th Parliament. Mind you that this 8th Parliament is still alive until the 6th of January 2025.
It is one thing winning the legal battle, but it's another thing getting the consensus. So important you talk about Georgia in there. How are you going to get the other side and even the Speaker of Parliament, who it appears your side led by your leader appear to be on a collision course with him. How are you going to have him around the table and also the minorities around the table in the next 2 months before the House comes to an end?
Sanda, if you look at actually what the ruling the Supreme Court made today, I am very positive and convinced in my mind beyond reasonable doubt that the Speaker Babin that I know will respect the decision of the Supreme Court. The same thing, our colleagues from the minority side will also respect the decision of the Supreme Court. Rather than that, Sanda will be heading towards a very bad precedent, and it will be very bad and dangerous to our democracy, because I wouldn't see the basis in which the Speaker of Parliament will not respect the ruling of the Supreme Court or the interpretation and setting the scores in interpreting Article 97. Neither will I actually be able to see our colleagues, because our colleagues in the minority was of the view that the Speaker had said this. The Speaker also said that this was his understanding. And the right body under the Constitution to interpret the Constitution is the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court have done that. If we disrespect this, it means that Ghana will have a chaos state. A chaos state in the sense that there are checks and balances, even though there are separation of power. The executive, who is the president, his budget is approved by Parliament. So the President also said that I was elected by the good people of Ghana. For that matter, why should Parliament approve my budget? The ministers appointed by the President is approved by Parliament. But the President said that I was elected by Ghanaians, and for that matter, I should just appoint ministers. The power the Speaker has, the power the Speaker is enjoying, is a creation of the Constitution. The interpretation powers the Supreme Court also has is a creation of the Constitution. So we all have to respect the right authorities in terms of interpretation of the Constitution. And it is only the Supreme Court that has that original jurisdiction in terms of this issue. So I am very convinced that the Speaker of Parliament that I have known and I have worked with for the past getting to 4 years will not in any way he will respect the decision of the Supreme Court.
I was actually not talking about whether or not the Speaker would respect the decision. I was saying that it is one thing winning in the law court, but of course another thing working together. You in the House of Parliament, you have a lot of backroom work that you do based on everything you've told us before you come to the floor. I'm saying that considering how charged the atmosphere has been the past few weeks, you have won all right in the court. Of course, the Speaker has no option than to respect the Constitution, and for that matter, the Supreme Court, because that would amount to high treason if he doesn't. But how do you get them around the table beyond the decision of the court so you can work together in the interest of the state? That's the question.
Yes, Sanda, I know that you've been following parliamentary proceedings and you've actually been monitoring the space when it comes to what matters rising from Parliament. We've gone through this before. Even at a point, people think that we were even going to throw blows, but we were able to navigate our way through. Definitely as leadership, the whips, definitely the welfare and other matters that have to do with the MPs is in our hands. We will engage each other. We'll try to carry our members along. Leadership will meet. Leadership will engage the Speaker. We will have a meeting and then be able to set out as to how we are going to resolve this issue as we carry the House along for the last session of this Parliament. There are many times that in Parliament we have had serious disagreement. We've even budget being refused, budget being reinstated. First Deputy Speaker cannot vote or can vote. We are rejecting ministers. We are voting on ministers. We are voting on Supreme Court judges and other things. There have been serious issues. But at the end of the day, we all sit down and then be able to judge or understand each other and work. So I can assure you that from today, leadership have already started engaging. We have already started talking to each other. We are talking to our colleagues at the other side. The other side is also, and we intend to have a leadership meeting and then reach out to meet the Speaker. Okay. Mind you, the Speaker is not a member of Parliament. He's the Speaker of Parliament like a referee. So whatever happens, we need to come together, agree, and go to him. And we are ready from the majority side to engage our colleagues and also to engage the Speaker.
When are you going to initiate steps to recall the House?
Sanda, that one, I'll tell you to watch the space.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Honorable Habib Idrisu. He is First Deputy Majority Whip and NPP MP for Tolong. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. More coming your way, including the Electoral Commission arresting the attempt by the running mate of the late Ikuya Donko to replace her on the ballot paper for election 2024. But the ballot paper remains unchanged. Ikuya Donko's image remains at number 3. And the election will come off as planned. Stay tuned in.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hi, Aku. I just got the estimate for the home repairs. It's more than we expected. I'm really stressed about where to find the money.
Why worry, Musa? You are a salaried worker. Haven't you heard of...
Facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at Twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at Instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. Let's go to the Electoral Commission now, shall we? How?
Now, the Commission has disqualified Philip Kwabena Agyemang, the Ghana Freedom Party's replacement for the presidential candidates for Madam Ikia-Donkor. According to the Electoral Commission, Mr. Agyemang was disqualified due to an illegality found on his nomination forms, despite the party having been allowed to correct other irregularities. To avoid unnecessary costs and save time, the Electoral Commission has decided to retain Ikia-Donkor's name on the ballot paper. Speaking at an emergency inter-party advisory committee meeting, EC Chairperson Jean Mensah announced that printing houses have been instructed to continue printing the presidential ballot, which are now about 90% complete.
Inform you of the Commission's decision to maintain the presidential ballot as it is. As you may be aware, and I believe all of you have representatives in the printing houses, we are almost 90% complete with the printing of presidential ballots. And you are also aware that following the passing of Madam Ikia-Donkor, we requested the printing houses to cease printing until the law had taken its course. Now that the presidential candidate or the nominee has been disqualified, the Commission would like to inform you that the printing will proceed on the current ballot as is, in the interest of time and to save this country millions of cedis. And so our task here this morning is very simple. We are not here to change positions. We are not here to reballot. We are simply here to inform you that the Commission intends to notify our printing houses to proceed with the presidential ballot as is. It will proceed with the ballot that bears the name and the image of the name of the Ghana Freedom Party, their symbol, and the image of Madam Ikia-Donkor. And we believe that a lot of discussions and advertisements will go out to prevent the citizenry from voting for her.
That was the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah. Meanwhile, the Ghana Freedom Party has welcomed the decision to disqualify them from this year's elections. National organizer of the party, Richard Buchi, has been speaking to City News on what's next for the party.
A number of errors and some illegalities with the form. The candidate...
Apologies for that wrong insert. We'll bring you that insert subsequently.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. I'm talking about the Electoral Commission. The EC has released a summary of the final certified voter register for the elections of 2024 on 7th December. This comes in response to a request from the opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) for additional data beyond the final register provided to political parties. The EC has confirmed that a total of 18,774,159 voters are eligible to participate in the election. So let's ask NDC, are you happy? Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director of IT and Elections at the NDC. You're welcome to Eyewitness News. Are you happy now? Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Yes, are you satisfied with what the EC has done upon your request?
Sanda, let me say good evening to your cherished listeners. I will not describe it as are we satisfied. It is about the records given out today on our demand. The records they gave us indicate a national summary of the register, and in that summary there was a startling revelation of information that has been hidden from us for all this while. of which we made further demands from the EC to come clean with that. And that has to do with the collapse of certain polling stations that we are not aware. And then they've migrated them to certain polling stations we are not aware at all. And so we needed the EC to come clean and give us data of those collapsed polling stations. Because all along we have been working, they've never indicated to us that they are collapsing polling stations. They've never indicated that. They only made us to understand that they were going to create additional voting centers, and that they were not creating new polling stations, but they are creating voting centers because of the limited registration exercise that we conducted. And then any polling station which figure crosses 750, automatically they will split it into two, so that you can have two voting centers there. So that has increased the polling stations to about 40,900 plus. But today, their statement indicated that they have collapsed some polling stations, which of course we are not aware. So we demanded further and better particulars of this information.
But is that not reasonable what the EC said? So we have a standard number of people who make up a polling station. To the extent that these polling stations do not have enough, the logical thing would be to collapse these polling stations and send these people to nearby polling stations. How problematic is this?
Sanda, is problematic because we are talking of the upper limit. There is no indication of lower limit. All our dealing with EC, they've never told us the number of voters who should constitute a polling station. They don't have that. It is the upper limit that we are all talking about, and the upper limit is a 750. If it is more than 750, then they will automatically split it into two. But they've never indicated to us that, look, if it is below this number, then we will collapse it. We don't have that. We've never had that kind of indication from them. And so this one came to us as a surprise, that we have collapsed certain polling stations. And the reasons behind it, not apart from the numbers, that certain communities, those polling stations should not exist. I mean, this is neither here nor there. Sanda, they don't determine that. Although they consult and put the polling station. So if you are collapsing it, you and you are not aware. Sanda, I don't know whether your polling station is collapsed. You don't know this because they have not indicated, they have not shown it. So on the D-Day, you go to vote, and then Sanda, you are told your polling station is collapsed. You are no more here. You have been sent to a different place. That is some of the issues that we raised and said, look, they must come clean. Give a better particulars. List those polling stations you have collapsed. Where you have migrated their people. You said there are about 884 of them. Okay, show us where you have put them. Which polling station have you put them into? So that we will be on the same wavelength.
Is that the only issue you have so far now with the EC? You have the full register. Well, you are fine.
You have the register. Yeah, I picked the register today.
You have the absentee list. You have the I think the different categories, the proxy, all of those. Yes. You are satisfied with all of that so far.
No, we are now studying Sanda. You know, we are demanding the summaries in order to study the register. So we picked the register today with the summaries. So we are currently studying the register as a body and comparing that with their summaries. And then we've also demanded their regional summaries. You know what they gave us a national summary. It didn't include regional summaries. Well-intentioned, we'll look at that. Their segregation of the special voters from the main register. I mean, this is a new innovation they are just creating. Because normally, we all know that special voters are from the same polling station. And so having segregated them now, and then created a register for it, and then the main register had about 18,640,000 or so. That means that in the next foreseeable future, that is the next district assembly election, they have to now compile a fresh register again by bringing these special voters back to the main register. That gives it. So this is a new thing they have done. We have studied it. We'll look at it, and then we'll think we'll make our verdict clearer very soon. But this is the preliminary things that we told them today at the IPAC meeting.
All right.
And I'm sure they will take it on board.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. He is Deputy Director of IT and Elections with the NDC. Let's go to the camp of the New Patriotic Party now. Evans Nimaku is Director of Elections. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir. Any reactions to the register as released by the Electoral Commission? Is giving a breakdown of absentee list, proxy list, et al.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think for For us as New Patriotic Party, counting from 1st of October, where the EC addressed the issue of the NDC's concern with respect to the register not being fit for purpose, followed through to 15, where the EC handed over to parties the revised version of the provisional register. We had a meeting with the EC, and the certified register was handed over to us. At that meeting, the NDC elected not to accept the certified register, and so a certain breakdown is given by the EC to them. For us as New Patriotic Party, we were not bothered. We took the register home. We are doing our analysis. Before then, we were reaching out to the registered voters, 80,774,159 of them, across the 48 polling stations. Our presidential candidate, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has been engaging with the electorate. The prayer of the New Patriotic Party is that come December 7th, the majority of the registered voters will turn out to vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to coalition government in January 7, 2025. So that has been the focus of the New Patriotic Party. Today, there was an IPAC emergency meeting called by the EC. We were told that the GFP candidate, the person who applied to replace Madame Ekiadonko, may her soul rest in peace, was not successful. And therefore, the ballot paper will remain as it. All parties will be in their position, and then they conduct extensive public education to ensure that voters will recognize that Madame Ekiadonko is not in contest, even though demised. And so, for us, we are working with what we have, and we hope that, and with our prayer to God, that the battle being his, we go through the elections and come out successful as victors.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
My pleasure.
That's Evans Nimaku, Director of Elections, NPP. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. We'll be back with more. Please stay. You're welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. Now there's a strike by workers of the Ghana Highways Authority. Their reason is over some legislation. Let's listen to a contractor with the Ghana Highway Authority.
They have gone on strike, so I don't know anything about it. So I just confused because I'm coming to chase my documents there. Yesterday I came and they told me that I should come today and sign out. So when I came, they tell me they are on strike.
So that's a contractor who actually visited the Ghana Highway Authority today, who made the doors closed because, of course, the workers are on strike. The National Labour Commission is chaired by Ofusua Samoa. He's executive secretary and not chairman. He's joined us on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Samoa, you had declared this strike by the highway workers as unconstitutional or unlawful, but they are on the strike anyway. In these circumstances, what do you do?
Yes, we have only one option to enforce our directive in the court if they fail to comply.
Which is to go to the court and ask the court to enforce the decision that you have taken.
That is what the law enjoins us to do, and that is what we will be doing.
When you declare a strike illegal, what does it mean? Does it mean that one, they are essential services and cannot go on strike, or two, the procedure they used, they didn't use the right procedure? Can you explain more?
You see, in this case, they did not follow due process. The law provides for that you should give the Labour Commission at least 7 days notice. 2 notices to the Commission and then to your employers. And in their case, even when it comes to declaration of the strike, it is done by the national union and not a divisional union. So in both cases, they were wrong. And, earlier before the strike could take place, the ministry had petitioned the commission and they were summoned before the commission. So both of them were listed in caucus, and after that they were brought together. And all that was pointed out to them that they could not declare the strike as a division of the union. It is the national union that should declare the strike. And two, they had not followed due process. So they told the commission that in that case they were going back to do the needful to follow the process. And the commission said in the meantime, they are directed to suspend any industrial action until they have followed due process, which they admitted before the commission, only to go back and declare a strike in clear violation of the commission's directive. So we may have to seek enforcement of our directive as the law provides for.
When are you going to initiate these steps?
They have initiated it already.
And the court will immediately hear this matter, or you are yet to be called?
They are yet to be called.
Very well. Wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us.
But in any case, if they decide to go back, we will have to hold the court action. And I think that it will be in their own interest and the interest of all Ghanaians that once they have admitted before the commission that they have not followed the due process, we expect them to respect our directive, just as they will respect the court. You don't have to wait for the court to be directing you around when you know what you have done and what you are doing is not right.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Mr. Ofusua Samoa. He's Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, NLC. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. We are coming to you from our studios in Accra, Ghana. My name is Umaru Sanda. Amadu here with Hawa Idrisu. On Point Blank tonight, my guest is the Eastern Regional Minister, the Honorable Seth Kwame Champong. But before then, we have business news from the City Business Desk. Hawa brings us that next.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. The details now. The Bank of Ghana has suspended the foreign exchange trading license of Consolidated Bank Ghana effective November 26. The suspension, which will last for 1 month, is in accordance with Section 11.2 of the Foreign Exchange Act 2006, Act 723. According to a statement from the Central Bank, the decision was prompted by multiple breaches of foreign exchange market regulations, updated guidelines for inward remittance services for payment service providers issued in November 2023, and the anti-money laundering combating the financing of terrorism and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction guideline for accountable institutions in Ghana dated December 2022. The Bank of Ghana has indicated that the license will be reinstated after the suspension period if CBG can demonstrate adequate internal controls to ensure compliance with foreign exchange regulations. This move underscores the bank's commitment to maintaining strict regulatory standards within Ghana's financial sector. Let's still stay with the central bank. In a significant regulatory move, the Bank of Ghana has issued a comprehensive outsourcing directive aimed at enhancing the governance and risk management frameworks for banks, specialized deposit-taking institutions, financial holding companies, and development finance institutions. The regulated financial institutions have till July 1, 2025 to comply with this directive or face an administrative penalty of 1,000 penalty units, equivalent to 12,000 Ghana cedis. There is more in the following report.
The objective of the Financial Inclusions for Persons with Disabilities Directive, according to the Bank of Ghana, is to promote access to and usage of financial products and services by persons with disability, and also to establish a framework for financial service providers like banks to develop policies, procedures and facilities that ensures that PWDs have equitable access to a wide range of financial services. According to the document obtained by City Business News, banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions are prohibited from denying persons with disability access to credit or any other banking product or service due to their disabilities. Banks and SDIs must also provide priority service to PWDs. On the matter of accessibility, the directive mandates banks and SDIs to provide custom-made electronic channels such as automated teller machines, point of sales, and mobile POS systems. Such electronic payment channels shall be placed at a level that will be accessible to persons with mobility impairment, have voice guidance software, sharp contrast keypads or braille keypads, amongst others, for persons with visual impairment. Again, banks and SDIs must offer tailored customer services such as specially trained staff who can communicate in sign language for customers with speech or hearing impairments. The Bank of Ghana has served notice that failure to comply with the directive will result in an administrative penalty of no less than 2,000 penalty units, which translates to 24,000 Ghana cedis. Additionally, the Bank of Ghana may impose further remedial actions such as publishing periodic reports on its website listing compliant and non-compliant financial service providers.
The report was put together by City Business's Daniel Sakiti. Transport ministers from ECOWAS member states have approved a regional strategy aimed at making air travel more affordable across West Africa. Effective January 1, 2026, the new initiative will see the removal of taxes on air transport and a 25% reduction in aviation charges. Here is more.
This landmark move is designed to reduce travel costs, stimulate economic growth, and promote regional integration. The reforms are expected to have a significant impact on the region's aviation industry and will improve the movement of people and goods within ECOWAS states. The ministers addressed concrete strategies and common policies to lower air travel costs and have outlined plans to harmonize aviation charges, taxes, and fees across the region through a regional supplementary act. The new measures will be fully implemented by all ECOWAS countries before January 1, 2026. Member states are expected to make necessary fiscal adjustments and national provisions to facilitate the transition.
The report was by City Business News' Nashika Caesar. More than 52,000 farmers across the country are set to benefit from a $227.5 million funding initiative by the government of Ghana and the World Bank to revive the agricultural sector. The funding allows the Ghana Tree Crop Diversification Project to be launched on Thursday, November 14, which aims to foster sustainable economic growth through the diversification of tree crops. Daniel Odromensa has more in the following Business Desk report.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture highlighted that the project is designed to tackle key challenges affecting productivity and sustainability in the production of cocoa, cashew, coconut, and rubber. The initiative also aims to address critical issues such as child labor and gender inequality within the sector. The project takes a two-pronged approach focusing on both cocoa and other strategic tree crops to boost productivity, improve market access, and enhance the competitiveness of the private sector. With a total budget of $227.5 million, $27.5 million of which is being contributed by the government of Ghana through Cocoa Board. The project consists of 4 primary components, including institutional strengthening and value chain governance, and enhancing tree crop productivity and climate resilience. The project's goals include increasing yields and value addition for targeted tree crops and achieving significant reductions in greenhouse gas emissions.
Daniel Odrumensa filed that report. Financial economist with the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Lord Mensah, is raising concerns over the future of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which is set to expire in 2025. The AGWA initiative offers eligible African countries duty-free access to the U.S. market, fostering economic growth, and its expiration could have severe implications for economies relying on this vital access. Speaking to City Business News, Professor Lord Mensah highlighted the critical role AGWA plays in boosting trade and economic growth across Africa, but pointed out that the initiative's renewal now hangs in a balance as uncertainty surrounds whether it will be extended under Donald Trump's presidency.
Once it's an agreement, we expect that it will expire. But then, having him been elected, I foresee more uncertainty when it comes to the renewal of such initiatives. So we should brace ourselves for possibilities of not getting such agreements renewed. Businesses, they must appreciate that anytime Donald Trump is in power or anytime Republicans are in power, it's American business, and that is when you see interest rates in America tend to be going up. And we all know very well that, for you to attract investment, if the Americans can provide a good alternative, I don't think you can get, those investments. And businesses tends to boom when, there are spillovers of, business from Americas and other places. So we may have to, brace ourselves of possible dry up of dollar circulating globally, but then it will be doing well in America.
Professor Lord Mensah is a financial economist with the University of Ghana Business School, and then City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
News.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Point Blank is brought to you by Kivo Pepe Moko Show. My name is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. So tonight on Point Blank, as earlier advertised, the Eastern Regional Minister, Seth Kwame Champon, is my guest. He's yet to get into the studio. So while we wait for him, let me take you on the campaign trail. Let's listen to Dr. Amadu Baumia. He's the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party and he's the sitting vice president. He's on the campaign trail. Before we hear from him, let's hear from the regent of Akrofuom, Nana Enim Ejekum II. He has praised the government for making the town a district. This, he says, has led to the development of the community. He said this during a stakeholder engagement with NPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Nana Enim Ejekum II urged Dr. Baumia to tackle their roads issues if he is elected.
We didn't have a market initially, but one is now under construction. The government is also working on job creation here. Please extend our regards to him. However, our roads need attention, and I hope you will address that if you win the election.
So that's the regent of Akrofom, Nana Enim Ejekum II. The man he spoke to is a man hoping to replace his boss as the president of the republic, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. He promised to fix the poor road network in the constituency if he is elected.
Minim say mon number one how I I know one of your main concerns is the condition of your roads. The NPP parliamentary candidate has been vocal about the poor state of roads here. I ask you to trust me with your vote, and I assure you I will fix all the roads to earn your support for re-election.
So that's Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, flag bearer of the NPP presidential candidate. This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. It's brought to you by Kivo Pepe Moko Show. My name is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. Point Blank tonight was supposed to focus on the Eastern region. The regional minister was due to be in studio. Unfortunately, he's not here. We'll be raising him on the line. While I wait to put him on the phone, Dennis Brown from Sandema sends me a message. He says, in fact, the Supreme Court case was already predetermined before today, the judgment went 5-2, was an intentional decision masterminded and calculated so that the SC will look good in the face of the public. That's why they plan to put the ratio 5-2. The courts in Ghana now, I can't continue with this message. Mr. White sends a message from Sakumono Total, and he says, according to the Constitution, when the President and Vice are not available, the Speaker takes over before the Supreme Court, not the Supreme, before the Chief Justice. Now that this brouhaha and the Supreme Court is interpreting the Constitution more than the Speaker, does it mean the Supreme Court knows more than the Speaker and why they are third in command? All right, so that's your question. The Supreme Court is empowered to interpret the Constitution by the Constitution. Then it's Dusu from Dansoman says, a lot of Ghanaians are not happy with the ruling and the confidence in the judiciary has declined. My question is that if the minority fails to go to Parliament, will the majority alone form a quorum? Because I see that happening because the majority didn't honor the minority when they were called back to Parliament. Prince Henry in Kofrida says, since this current Supreme Court ruled that I can't use my birth certificate as proof of citizenship, I lost trust and hope in the current Supreme Court under the leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo as the president. I hope the SC will force the Speaker of Parliament to recall Parliament. The future is pregnant. Let's go on the phone lines. The Honorable Seth Kwame Champo is the Eastern Regional Minister. Honorable Minister, good evening and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Good evening, Sanda.
You were supposed to be in my studio. What happened?
You would discuss that when we cross paths. I'm sure the orientation as to your location changed.
It's a matter of regional security. Just say that, and then we'll move on.
It's a matter of you becoming the onus who decides what must happen. And since you are my boss, you have been trying to use your hook to pull me from wherever I am. I'm before you yet, my lord.
We are honored that you've agreed to actually spend the evening with us. We were not wishing to speak to you on the phone, but well, since COVID came, we have been told that we can transact business and do so many other things virtually. So let's get into it now. You've been Eastern Regional Minister for what, 4 years, or is this your 8th year or your 4th year?
In my 4th year. I'll celebrate my 4th year, God willing, next year.
Congratulations. How has it been, the journey to be the man who is leading the region from which the president hails?
It's quite interesting. Mind you, this region is quite big. We are bordered by the Ashanti region on the northern part and Bono East on the northern part. On our eastern coast, we are with the Volta region. Southern part, we have Greater Accra region and the Central region. And then again, on our western part, we still have Central region and Ashanti region. Now, we are a region with quite diverse ethnicity. You come to where I was born, is the Kwawus, who primarily from ancestral lineage, some from Ashanti, some from Bachim area. And you go to the eastern corridor, you have the Esojaman, where you have the Akomus, you have the Nums, you have the Bosos. If you come a little closer, you have the Krobos, both Manya and Yellow. And you climb the mountains, you have the Kwapims. And even in the Kwapims, you have the Guans as well within the Kwapims. If you go to the center, to where I operate and work from, Koforidia, you have New Gabi, which is also Ashantis. And then if you proceed further, you have Ebuakwa State, that's Ochene. And you go a bit deeper into the western part, you would have Kotoku, and then you have Busumi. These are all Achims. And this put together, we have 11 paramountcies in terms of traditional governance in the region. Politically, we have 33 assemblies that are administrative governance, with the regional coordinating council apexing it as the supervising coordinating office for all the 33 assemblies. So in short, this is how I'll be able to describe our region from a demographic and the new way I will be able to tell you some information.
I see. So beautiful. I mean, I know your region a lot, especially the eastern part along the Volta. And it's interesting you gave the demographic there. We'll talk about the politics later because there is a part of your region that has always been voting the NDC, and there's a part of your region that has always been voting the MPP. We'll delve into that as we look at the electoral fortunes of your party. But as a man who represents the president there, the chairman of the Regional Security Council, how have you dealt with the issues of turbulence or insecurity matters that have come up over the past 4 years in your region?
Thank you very much. It's been with the support of the traditional institutions, i.e. the police, the military, immigration service, the intelligence agencies, and allied security services in support of us working together. With the deployments, it's been primarily police service because they are the civil managers of the public safety. In circumstances where we require additional support, we have brought in the military. And in this region, we are supported by the 1B and 1st Infantry Battalion. That is the Southern Command unit who is attached to the Eastern region that supports us in terms of security and defense. And so we have been able to do the physical and tactical work with their support. And the Ghana Immigration Service has also assisted us with their support. Now, one of the ways we have survived is our relationship with our traditional authorities. If you listen to my initial description of demography, we have 11 paramountcies. And as we speak, we have all our paramountcies in place, 11 of them. And we have closely worked with them to maintain order and to give assurance to the citizens that this is a listening government and an administration that is ready to engage with the people. And so our work has been to ensure that we are visible to the people and we immediately respond to their needs by drawing closer to their doorsteps and offering our stewardship to satisfy their needs. So by and large, that's how we've done it. As your guest may be, you know, tactical security operations come to deployment and then you find them physical on ground, and we engage sometimes where we would have to enforce some measures that will bar some other members of the community from moving to and fro in the system. We have assured them that it will not be to the detriment of the peace and the stability of the community. We've engaged very well, quite well with them. I'm sure you're minded of a couple of our chieftaincy issues that have come up in the region. That is one of the concerns. And fortunately, with a very healthy working relationship with them, we've been able to move on into steps. And I couldn't go further without mentioning the support of the National Security Minister and the chieftaincy ministers who have worked with the previous one and the current one, my senior brother Samabwati, and Kojoku, my brother, the former chieftaincy minister. By and large, these are the people we've worked with in respect of the chieftaincy issues. There are other issues that have come up which are of crime management, and to your information, I'm sure you're aware, our region has been divided into 3 police regional commands. Politically, administratively, we preside over 1 region from Koforidua, but the police administration and the police management board have divided our region into 3 to enhance crime management. So we have Eastern Region Command of the Police Service, Eastern North Command of the Police Service, and Eastern South Command of the Police Service. And this has come as a blessing to us in the region to strengthen the hands of our men in uniform and officers in uniform, helping to maintain public peace and order.
Let's talk about development. And regional ministers, your job really is to coordinate the development which is carried out by the district chief executives. I don't know if regional ministers can really take credit for any development whatsoever. Can you share with me, under your tenure as regional minister, the key developments that have been recorded in the Eastern region? I don't know which of them you can take credit for, if you do have to take credit for any at all.
There's nothing to take credit for anything. It is the administration of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and his Vice President. They swore to the Republic that under their leadership, they were going to provide us with certain developments which are within their manifesto. And so have they delivered. And we, the sworn subordinates, I sit as a subordinate to His Excellency the President in the region because the Constitution has blessed him and clothed him with the powers to select and get through the system procedurally to affirm so. So I am privileged to be associated with the developmental projects that His Excellency rolled out through that science, of which I am one. Now I can give you all that we have done so far. I think when we come to the educational front, within the 20, and I here as I proceed, I want to give credit to my predecessor as well, my senior brother, the Honorable Eric Kwachi-Dafo, who was the regional minister in the first term administration of His Excellency, the President. And so combined from January 2017, when His Excellency was sworn into office, until he got all of us his subordinates to be in office, in educational infrastructure alone, we've brought up 404 educational infrastructure in the last season for both basic and secondary education. It has not just been there. We have done our best to also improve on the lot of the infrastructure of the public university in the region, University of Environment and Sustainable Development at Yilo Krobo and Somanya, if I'm allowed to say so. Again, as you travel along the N6, the N6 is the main corridor linking the south and the north of Ghana from the center. That runs almost about 60 to 70% of its coverage between Greater Accra and Ashanti in the eastern region. And as you go, you will get to Etiwa. We have built up a very modern TVET Center of Excellence at Etiwa East, to be precise, in Enyinem. And we have again put up a modern, state-of-the-art STEM complex in Etiwa West, and this is at Abomosu. These are all educational infrastructure that we have built since His Excellency has been in office. And I can say again that from 2016 to 2020, say 2016-2017 academic year and 2023-2024 academic year, as we speak, enrollment into senior high school have increased from where we were at 127,000 to 196,314. And these statistics are real for us to cross-check the Ghana Education Services data. And this is a 54.46% of increment since His Excellency took administration and governance of our great and beautiful country, Ghana. Umaru, are you there?
I'm listening to you.
Wonderful. I thank you so much for having the patience to allow me to move on.
So let's talk about the political side of things. The Eastern region is the unacknowledged World Bank of the NPP as well, the second World Bank or one of the key World Banks, because the votes that you bring into the NPP are huge. Now, in the past, you have had Akan presidential candidates for the NPP, John Ejekum Kufuor, Dr. Duboahin, and recently Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, who actually hails from the Eastern region. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not from the Eastern region. He's not also from the Ashanti region, the two World Banks or strongholds of the NPP. How are you going to work in your region to ensure that the Vice President, and for that matter, the NPP, remains a successful party in that region even with a flag bearer who is not necessarily coming from there?
Thank you very much, Umaru. It is pride knowledge now that His Excellency, the Vice President, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, and the leader of the New Patriotic Party, of which I belong, and on whose sponsorship all of us are today serving the Great Republic of Ghana, has distinguished himself as a performer and one who can be trusted since we started this Fourth Republic and under this dispensation. Unequivocally, I can say, without looking elsewhere, that the Vice President has demonstrated that, yes, indeed, he is a person we can trust and work for. The Vice President, I know him when I had been on the ground working as a candidate when I used to be a member of Parliament. And he came to my constituency the 3 terms that I enjoyed serving the great people of Empire in Parliament. Every campaign season came down and worked with us in the constituency. And so he is known in the constituency. I'm making this analogy to affirm the support the Eastern region is going to overwhelmingly give to His Excellency the Vice President, because he has served us, and it is time for us to return the same stewardship he offered us. So it is just reciprocal that we will vote massively for the candidate of the New Patriotic Party, and who is the leader of the political tradition, the New Patriotic Party, of which I am proud to be a member of. Now, there is no distinction that His Excellency is coming from the northern part of Ghana, and all our previous candidates have been Southerners. The New Patriotic Party is the only political party I can pride myself to be with that has balanced the southern and the northern tickets. I, being a proud Kabonga, if I were in the north, I would have been called a Kabonga. I, being a proud Kabonga, I'm happy that today a Kabonga is partnering a Northerner to give Ghana another level of leadership. And our political party is opened up to every part of this country. And we are not just a political party that do not believe. We are ensuring that the spirit and letter of our Constitution is respected to the letter. Freedom of expression and freedom of association. Whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Christian, once we believe in you, that you can lead us into victory, will give you the opportunity. The only political party who today has been able to offer this country a Muslim, a praying Muslim, and practicing one, a proud one that I'm very happy to be associated with, to become our leader and flag bearer. We will vote massively for him.
Very well. Before you go, the Krobo enclave in your region has always been NDC. You are a good speaker of Dangbe yourself. What are your plans with that side of your region? You won 1 seat in 2016, but of course that owed to the internal problems of the NDC. They've since taken that back. There's a Sewa seat, Upper Manya Krobo constituency. Have you given up on that area? And Sojaman too, how are you dealing with that? In just a minute before we go.
Umaru, I have been in the Eastern region as a regional minister, and I have not been loud. I want to promise you, there are surprises coming up in the Kobo area this time around. And trust me, we are taking our feedback from the NDC in the Upper Manya area, and the surprise is coming from the lower hills. And you'll be surprised that from the upper hills to the lower hills, we are ready to wrestle the seat from my friends in NDC. They'll be surprised. I'm sure they are experiencing the heat that we have brought into the region, and the unity and the strength and the spirit that our leadership is working and operating with. So I will promise you, Umaru, that there is no way we will win, we'll lose those seats. You'll be surprised that we are going to win and win handsomely. I promise you. This is not running my mouth. This is walking the talk, as I've always promised.
Very well. Wish you all the best, and thank you so much for joining us tonight, sir.
I'm just in your studio. Just hold on, let me look at your face. Don't go on.
So do you know that Kwame? Okay, now this one is interesting. You can terminate the phone call so you can. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, the Honorable Kwame Champo, has entered the studio just when I was about to sign out. He had been on a call with us. Please say good evening to my people. Let them know you have entered the studio. Say it here. Say it in this microphone. Wow. Moye, let me speak Dangbe with you. Moye.
You know what is interesting?
No.
I don't want to speak that way here because